Hello, baby.
Hello, is this Bill?
Yes, it is.
Bill, how you doing? This is Dustin from KMSU Radio.
Hello, Dustin. How you doing, bud?
I am excellent. Are you ready for a few questions?
Of course, I'm always ready.
Well, first of all, I'm here with my co-host, Ton.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hello, Tongue. How you doing? Tell Gene Simmons I said hello.
I will. That was probably the greatest telephone answer I have ever experienced.
See what happens when you're a little kid and you choke on some bubble gum and then you get some brain damage on it. That's exactly what happens, man.
That is awesome. Well, if you're ready, we got some questions for you.
I am ready, sir.
Well, I guess we'll start with the typical. How was green Jello formed?
Oh, that's a hilarious answer, actually. It was formed in January 1981, and I lived in Buffalo, New York, and a bunch of my friends, just like any typical juvenile delinquent during high school, we all hung out in my friend's attic drinking beer, smoking weed, playing board games in the middle of winter. And one of my friends came over and said, "Oh, my God, I have a great name for the punk rock band. I just had it for dessert, and it's the world's worst dessert." He goes, "Green Jello." And we all looked at each other, and we said, "Well, we don't know how to play any instruments." And he goes, "Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Bill, you could sing, and Jim, you could play the bass, and I'll play guitar." And we all got together in my grandmother's basement, and we went for our first practice, and, we tried to do, of course, cover songs like any other band. And we tried to do the Ramones' I Don't Care, and it was horrible, like God-forsaken horrible. And so right then, I came up with this idea, hey, it's the world's worst dessert, so why don't we be the world's worst band? And we could just say that we suck, and people could bring Jello to the show and throw it at us, and we'll dress up in costumes to cover up the fact that we can't play any of these songs. And sure enough, we decided, oh, that was a great idea. And again, I was still in high school, 12th grade. So we happened to be having green Jello for lunch one day in the cafeteria. So I came up with this epic idea. I'm going to rent a PA. I'm going to pull it into the cafeteria during lunch. I'm going to tell all my friends about it. We're going to do a surprise concert, and everybody will throw their food at us.
That sounds amazing.
Sure enough, pulled in the PA, told all my friends. We got food thrown at us. The school got mad, suspended us. And right at that moment in time, I said, oh, my God, I know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Genius.
True story. Didn't make up any of it.
That's
and
awesome.
I've been in the band since then. So what is that? 32 years. My son is actually the same age as me right now when I started Green Jello, and he just joined the tour with us.
Crazy.
And there you go. There's my most bands tell you about how they love the Led Zeppelin and they practice real hard. No, not at all. I like breakfast cereal, and I could not sing. In fact, I was in chorus at school in 4th grade, and I only joined chorus so I could get out of schoolwork. And they actually told me to pretend to sing because I was so horrible I was throwing the whole choir off. It's somehow I wound up getting nominated for a Grammy for singing. I don't know how that works, but
Yeah, that's
works well for me.
the world's worst band gets nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah. It's so sad. And the best part about the Grammy thing is we got beaten by Peter Gabriel.
That's almost better than winning it, I think.
Why I'm on the same list as Peter Gabriel, I'll never know. But, I have so many friends that, try so hard to be musically, inclined and talented, and here I am, running against Peter Gabriel in a Grammy Award.
Well, yeah, I mean, what were your initial thoughts, like, when that album became such a success and all that? What was going through your mind?
The first thing that went through my mind is I don't have to work anymore. So I was working at this place called E-Entertainment Television. I was like the camera guy, master control operator, blah, blah, blah. And, I came up with this idea that I could, work my day job and make all my music videos on the weekend. So it seems simple enough. So I started, and of course, the first video I tried to make was Serial Killer, and that took me about a month of weekends, and by the end of it, I was like crying my eyes. I was like, oh my God, I told them I could make 11 music videos, and I've only made one. And so it was just real terrifying. So at one point in time, I just had to, come up with this decision of like, either I could, go for it and try to make all these videos and quit my job, or I could just, keep working the job all my life. So on St. Patrick's Day, 1992, I quit my job and I just started focusing on making music videos. And I had never made one in my entire life. It was a big lie that I made up to the record company. I said, oh, yeah, I work in the entertainment television. Little did they know I did nothing but fuck off or goof off at the radio or at the television studio. So I made up this elaborate story how I can make all these music videos, and I'll make 11 of them, no problem. Because I didn't think they were going to do anything. I didn't think they were going to give me any money. And the president of the company before, then this is a true story, he never saw the band and never heard the band. I just went in and told them this story. I dress up like a cow, and people throw food at us, and they say that we suck. And I could make you 11 music videos for $60,000. And I came up with this price because that was the price that my cousin was selling her house for in Buffalo, New York at the time. And and it's just a figure that came out in my head because, again, I was just making this stuff up. Wow. And right then he goes, all right, sounds like a great idea. Picks up the phone. Hey, Chris, write Manspeaker a check for $60,000. And I'm like, what? You're kidding me. And I walk out of that office I walk in poor, okay? Making a couple $100 a week working at a TV station. I walk out with a check for $60,000. And like I said, I tried to make I said, I got $60,000 free dollars. I got a job. I'm set, All I got to do is fake a couple music videos. And like I said, I started making them on the weekends. And it just became so overwhelming because I didn't know how to do them. But by the time that I was done, like I said, I promised them 11. By the time that I was done, I made the last video. I shot it. I lit it. I made the props, and I edited it all in one day. I started it in the morning, and by nighttime I was finished. I had it down. So I was just glad that, I now had this job making music videos. And then when it sold a zillion copies, the record company said, you know what, we're going to invest in a video production company with you. And I kid you not, they gave me a check for $2 million in May of 1993 on my birthday, May 1st. President of the record company flew out to New York City where we were playing a show. They said, Manspeaker, remember that production company you were talking about? And I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to give you the money for it. Here's $2 million. Kid you not, another check. I just blasted. I'm crying. And, then a year later, all of a sudden, I have this production company, and I'm making videos for Marilyn Manson, Tim Burton, Kiss, Hanna-Barbera. I started doing, television programming, working. And then the best part of it is the place that I was working at, the Entertainment Television, is now hiring me, my production company, to make videos for their television studio. So now my old job a year later is paying me $2,000 a week to make them commercials.
Wow.
But when I worked there, I worked 40 hours a week and made like $300.
It's just ridiculous.
All because I can't sing. All because I've masked the ability to sing with costumes and an elaborate, scam of you guys suck and throw food at us. Later on I removed the throwing the food part at us because it just got real annoying, real sticky. We had played with the Ramones one time, and Joey Ramone got a word that people threw food at us, and they just lost it. They took all their equipment, they wrapped it in plastic, and they sat on the side of the stage. And of course, I drive out on the stage on the moped, dress up as a cow, and people are whipping food at us, chanting that we suck. They got the Ramones on the side of the stage. They're all pissed off. They're all mad. As soon as we finished the set, the Ramones, Joey Ramone, had me literally, and I'm not kidding, literally picked up and thrown out. I got thrown over a fence by these giant security guards, and right behind me comes the cow guy, the rock and roll puppet, all the costumes. And later on, it's documented, somebody asked Joey Ramone what was the worst act that ever played with the Ramones, and he said it was Green Jello. These are things that make a mom proud.
Oh, man. This is like the most ridiculous American success story ever.
Yes, and what's funny about it is it's true.
Yeah, wow. Now,
we already sold the millions of records, you know what I mean? It's already done. They can't take it back.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you're at liberty to discuss or anything, but can you talk to us about the having to change from Jello to jelly?
Oh, yeah, that's a great story. So, it was green Jello, and we had discussed this with our lawyers, because you got to get a lawyer when you sign a record deal and blah, blah, blah. And we had discussed it with our lawyer, and this has nothing to do with it, but at the time, our lawyer was the same lawyer as Nirvana, and this was way before they actually even sold records. And so he was kind of like an up-and-coming lawyer guy. And his advice to us is, Bill, you're not going to sell anything. So just take the money and be quiet, make the video, hand it in, and don't even worry about your name change. I was like, all right. Sounds logical enough. You're a lawyer. You know what's going on. I know I'm not going to sell any records. You know I'm not going to sell any records. Fine. We'll be Green Jello. So I did all the videos. I handed it into the record company about maybe 6 months later, and I kid you not, they're like, "Oh, you made those? Yeah, I finished. You want to see?" And so, we put the video in, they watched it, got real no sort of reply at all from them, It was weird at the time. So it just sort of sat on the shelf, and they made only about 100 copies of the video. And just by a freak accident, they made 100 copies, and they took out a one-page ad in a magazine called Film Threat magazine. And just by accident, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam saw the ad, and he ordered the very first Green Jello video. And inside the videos was like a little card that you fill out, and it said, Eddie Vedder. And they're like, oh my, and it got sent back to the record company, and they're like, did Eddie Vedder really buy this, video? And they looked into it, and sure enough, he did, and he loved it, blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden, they were real interested in our band again because, the guy from Pearl Jam bought the first copy. So they decided to send us to this thing called the New Music Seminar, which was in New York City. And we were going to promote the record, So they put a little bit of money into us. They said, they gave us $5,000 to go out and promote the record at the college, thing in New York City. So we're out there, and we're trying to get press, and nobody's talking to us. Nobody wants to deal with us because, it's the Seattle grunge scene and, Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam. Those are all the cool hip things, and that's what everybody was attracted to. And we have this horrible puppet thing that people are throwing food at us. So nobody wants to speak to us. Nobody wants to interview us. And the only place that we can get is a public access channel called Screw Magazine. And it's like a porno show. That's the only show that wants us on to any sort of press. So we go to Screw Magazine, and we're on the thing. We do a little interview, and maybe about 2 weeks later it airs. Immediately, and this is before we even sell, more than 100 copies of the record, immediately we get a cease and desist from Kraft General Foods. And on the cease and desist paper, it said that one of their lawyers was channel surfing and happened to be channel surfing the porn channel and saw a character named Shitman in a band called Green Jello. And they didn't think it was appropriate that a character named Shitman was representing their product, and that we had to immediately change our name. Now, I didn't want to do it, and I wanted to fight it. And at that point in time, in 1993, or actually it was 92, at that point in time, they were trying to pass this thing called a parody law, and where it was okay to parody American pop culture. So this is why, The Simpsons get away with all this stuff now, or Family Guy, just mocking other things. Before that, you couldn't get away with it. So, I was saying, hey, let's, join up the fight with, the parody law and blah, blah, blah. And then the record company is like, nah, we can't do that. They're going to they're going to hold all your product, and we're not going to be able to sell anything. We're going to change your name to Green Cello. And I'm like, Green Cello? Like a musical instrument? Yeah, because it sounds just like Jello, Jello, Cello. I'm like, but we're a food band. I said, that's a musical instrument. And they're like, well, Manspeaker, you're going to have to make up your name fast. And so I came up with Green Smello, Smello. They didn't think that was funny in any sort of way. So we get another letter from Kraft General Foods telling us that we can only change our name to a legitimate word. And if we make up a word like Smello, that it could not contain any of their letters, so it couldn't be, ELLO with an SM in front of it. So the decision was made with the green jelly, which I really hated, but it wound up that jelly in Europe is the same thing as Jello. They call Jello jelly. So when we did a tour in Europe, all of a sudden all these kids are bringing up these little boxes of green Jello for me to sign, or lime Jello. And they all just say lime jelly. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what's going on here? I said, how did you get this box? And they look at me, well, it's jelly. I'm like, no, this is Jello. And what's Jello? So it all kind of worked out in Europe because it wound up being the same name. But, I had to tolerate jelly for a long time. And now, 20 years after the fact, I'm back to green Jello, and the hell with that guy.
Well, one thing we got to ask you is your single that you released with Hulk Hogan. How did that all come about? Oh,
my God. We're in England doing the little Jello thing, right? And for some reason, we were selling a zillion copies in Europe. So the record company sent us over there, and I was living there for like a month because we're doing a lot of TV, a lot of radio, a lot of promo. And England is really super dull and boring. And we're sitting in my hotel room and, just watching horrible television, and the phone rings. Again, I know it's going to sound elaborate, but it's true. And all of a sudden I pick up the phone and hello, this is Bill Manspeaker there. And I'm like, yes. Hi, Bill, this is Hulk Hogan. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. My kids were watching your video, and I really love the video. And I don't know if you know this, but the Hulkster is a bass player also. I used to be in a band, and I really love your band. I'm like, yeah, sure, Hulk Hogan. You play the bass, right? Cool. While I'm in town, I'm going to send over a limo, and I want to do a record with you guys. We're in town, we're wrestling. I'll send the limo over to your hotel, and we'll talk about it over dinner. And I'm like, oh, sure, okay, limo, dinner, Hulk Hogan, you're going to be in the band. Okay, yeah, sure. Because I'm thinking somebody's pulling some elaborate joke on me, right? Hang up the phone. About an hour later, phone rings again. Mr. Manspeaker, your limo is downstairs. I'm like, all right. Okay, I'm going to go check this out. And I'm not buying it. It's just a joke somebody's pulling, right? So I go down and I get in the limo. Sure enough, the limo pulls in some gigantic stadium, through the back door, and all of a sudden I'm backstage, the door opens, and I'm greeted by Hulk Hogan. Hello, how you doing, buddy? He gives me this big hug. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so we talk, all right, Bill, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fly back to Hollywood. We're going to record a song. We're going to do a video, and it's going to be great. And I'm going to use it as my theme song for every time that I come out on the stage. And I'm like, okay. All right, Bill, I got to go. And all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. And the stadium's like, oh, and he goes out and he wrestles, comes back. I hop in the limo with Hulk Hogan and Beefcake and all these other wrestlers. And next thing I know, I'm at Planet Hollywood with Hulk Hogan and like 10 wrestlers, and we're all taking pictures. I'm dressed up as the cow, and Hulk Hogan's there. And next thing I know, we're at Hollywood recording songs, making music videos, and there you go.
Wow.
Wow. Just, again, I thought it was an elaborate lie, an elaborate joke, but it wound up, he was a big fan of the band, and he wound up joining our band and being a part of it. And it's really funny that you say that, because right now I'm in Tampa, Florida, and Hulk Hogan owns his own restaurant. Now, my son just got out of high school, and he's 18, so he's out on tour with us. So we're on our way to the airport, and we pull over. I said, my son's name is Damien. I said, Damien, you got to see this at Hulk Hogan's restaurant. We pull over, we walk inside, and there's this gigantic picture of me and Hulk Hogan on the wall of the entrance of the of his own restaurant. And my kid's face was just like, oh my God. I'm like, crazy world, ain't it?
Yeah.
And you would think that I would at least get maybe a free meal. Maybe a free soda. Nothing. I still had to wait in line. I had to put my name on the list. I had to hold one of those little buzzers and wait to get my food.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, that's me up there. Yeah, that's nice, sir. You're number 17.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the wonderful world of being in the band of desserts.
There it is. Well, and you guys took a break for quite a long time, and then you started touring again and released an album a few years ago.
Yeah.
What was your reasoning for coming back?
Well, I stopped touring in '95 because the record company had bought me this production company. I was making music videos and blah blah blah, and I did that for years. And then I sold that, and then I opened up a art complex. I had a 42,000 square foot building on Sunset Boulevard, and I had all these bands and artists and musicians, and we used to do gigantic rave concerts, underground rave concerts every single weekend at our place. And then right after that, I went legit and I bought a license, and I opened up the largest nightclub in Los Angeles. We held 2,000 people. And we would be sold out every Friday, Saturday night. And I got a little bored of that, so I got rid of that. And me and my family decided that, we were just going to retire for a little bit. And we went and we got like a nice little beach house, and we kind of rode motorcycles on the beach for a while. And when my son, Damien, turned 13 years old, I asked him, I said, hey, Damien, what do you want to do for summer vacation this year? And he said, let's go back out on tour with the band. And I said, really? And he goes, oh, yeah, let's do it. So I booked a whole, summer tour, and that was in 2008, and we went out, and it was real successful. And I literally have not stopped playing since 2008. From 2008 till now, we've done over 500 shows. We've done more shows now than we have done when we were selling millions of records. We only played like 100 shows back then. Now, just from November of this year to present, we've done over 150 shows.
Wow.
And currently, I have over 466 people in my band across America. I did this thing where I set up a green jello band in every state across America. So every weekend, me, my wife, and my son, we fly out of Hollywood, California, where we live, on a Thursday, and we fly to a different state, and we do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show. We hop on the plane on Sunday, and we fly back to Hollywood, and we stay at our house Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we fly out Thursday. So right now I'm in Florida, and next weekend we'll be in Minnesota. The weekend after that we're in Denver, and I'm booked all the way until November, and I do it all myself. I book all the shows myself. I find all the bands myself, and I only do it by using Facebook. I have no booking agent. I have no actual real band. I just have random bands across America. Sometimes I don't even know who they are. I just meet them on Facebook. I give them a list of songs. I fly in. I land on Thursday, and a bunch of strangers pick me and my family up at the airport with all of our costumes, and we go do a round of shows, and then we go home.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So 466, you said.
466 presently. So for the show that we're doing with you next week, today I'm flying back to Los Angeles. We just have this weekend off, actually. My first week end off since November. And so we'll be in Los Angeles all week. And then Thursday morning, me, my wife, and my son will hop on a plane with all the costumes, and we're going to fly to St. Paul. And a band that I met on Facebook is going to pick me up at the airport, and we're going to drive to the show, and we're going to, play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and actually we're playing Sunday also this time. So there you go. That easy.
That's totally
So I got
crazy.
no band drama whatsoever. Usually what happens is, you take a band out on the road with you, and you're on the tour bus, and you have a driver, and you got a front lounge, back lounge, satellite TV, a kitchen, a shower. The first week or so, they're real grateful for being there, and then all of a sudden, whammo, they turn into rock stars, and next thing they know, they're yelling about the deli tray or meat touched their salad, and they're a vegetarian. And this way, I'm only with the band for 3 days. 3-4 days. So there's no room for ego. The first day they're excited, right? Oh my God, I can't believe we're playing. The second day they're used to it. Oh, great, this is a good time. The third day they kick in. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun, and then I leave. So I come with a high point, and then I leave with a high point. There's no lull in the band where the ego kicks in, and then drama sets in.
Beautiful.
So it works out real good, and every person, they're legitimately in the band. And my ultimate idea, what I'm working on now, like I said, I have 466 people. I got a band in every state. I'm going to have each Green Jello band, which I call them the Green Jello franchise bands. I'm going to have each band record their own CD. So I will release like 52 CDs. I want to release a new one every single week, right? So you figure each CD has 10 songs. I got, 50 bands. Well, actually 48 because you don't want to count Alaska and Hawaii. That's not really driving distance or flying distance. So I got 48 bands times 10 songs. That's 480 songs. Now, out of 480 songs, there's got to be 10 good ones, right? So then I take the 480 songs from the 48 bands, I play the 10 good songs, and then I put out another CD called The Best of the Worst.
Wow.
And there you go, and then just repeat over and over again.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I came up with this idea last summer, and I was sitting at our house in Hollywood, and I said to my wife, I said, why don't we just have a band in every state, and we could live in every state, and we'll have friends in every state. So it'll be like we live at 48 places at once. And it actually worked out that way. So here I am in Clearwater, Florida, and I'm staying at the drummer's house who's in the band. And what's funny about it is the drummer in the band right now, in the Florida band, when he was 15 years old, he wrote me a fan letter in 1994, and I wrote him back, and he still has the letter, and that's why he started being in the band. He said he used to set up all of his stuffed animals, and he would pretend to play drums to Green Jello songs in his bedroom, and now 20 years later, he's in the band, and I'm staying at his house.
Man.
Dreams do come true.
No, it does. I mean, with Green Jello, what is great about it is there's no rules. Like I said, I set off to be the worst band ever. And by being the worst band ever, I could do whatever I want. I could make up anything. I could play anything. I could do anything because nobody's expecting the best.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's...
And to prove that I was the worst, in, where was it, 1987, I was living in Buffalo, New York. I'm looking through the paper of Los Angeles, and I see an ad for this game show called The Gong Show, and where you kind of go on it and you perform, and if they like you, you win. If they don't, they hit this big gong. So I see an ad for it in the paper where I live in Buffalo, New York. I call it up, and I said, hey, I got this band, Green Jello. We're the worst band in the world. People throw food at us. I dress up as a cow and a pumpkin, and we're horrible. All right, we're going to put you down at Thursday at 2 o'clock for audition. I'm like, oh, great. I didn't tell them I lived in Buffalo. I got in my car that day, and I drove 3,000 miles across the United States, 5 days, so I could get on that show to prove that I was the worst band, because I figured 10, 20 years from now, maybe somebody else will come up with the idea that they want to be the worst. I said, this time, I need documented proof on television that I started the world's worst band. And if you look at it up on YouTube, Green Jello, The Gong Show, you could see the video. Hilarious. I won Lee press-on nails and a year's supply of turtle wax.
Nice.
Now,
Good
you would
score.
think when you win a year's supply of turtle wax that a truck is coming, right? A year's supply, right? So I'm calling on my friends, dude, I got a year's supply of turtle wax for everyone. Shipment's coming on Thursday. I kid you not. I had a zillion people over my house waiting for the shipment to come. The UPS guy comes. I'm like, oh, my God, a whole UPS truck full of turtle wax. Everybody's like, yeah. UPS guy comes up. I got a box of 12.
Man.
12! That's a year's supply! On TV, they show the big giant, 20-foot by 20-foot picture of the turtle wax. You're thinking, man, I'm getting thousands of turtle wax. 12.
Oh, that's
Small little box.
Oh man. Well, it's
and then right from that time, all of a sudden now I'm in Hollywood. I got a year's supply of turtle wax. And I'm like, oh, the hell with it, I'm staying here. And then maybe about a year later, I got signed to a record contract. Sold 2.5 million records. And since then, which was 1992, I haven't worked a day in my life.
It's
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful story. Well, it's been pretty amazing having you on the show here. You did mention you're coming to Minnesota on the 18th. You'll be in Mankato.
Yes. Yes.
So that's totally awesome. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, we love Minnesota. We play there all the time. We're playing in your town, then we're playing St. Paul. We're also playing Alexandria, and then we're playing at the Turtle Bay Indian Casino in Wisconsin, which is just probably about an hour out of town. So,
Yeah.
those are my four shows. I'll fly in. with my franchise band and my family and my smelly costumes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be home on Monday.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, it's been great having you on the show, Bill.
Cool, man. Thank you for calling.
All right, we're looking forward
Hopefully
to
I'll
seeing
see
you.
you guys at the show. If not, then thank you.
All right, sounds
No
good.
problem. Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot.
No problem, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.